When the glass breaks, the response is a physical wall of noise. 19,000 people reacting in unison with a level of intensity that modern sports rarely see. This era of dominance rose in direct opposition to the world that came before it. The early 1990s were defined by high-concept theatricality, bright neon characters designed to be larger-than-life heroes. Steve Austin entered this landscape as the ringmaster. He was a technically perfect mechanic, a wrestler who could execute every hold with surgical precision, but he carried no discernible identity. After a year in the middle of the card, Austin grew frustrated. He realized technical perfection was secondary to a human connection he wasn't making with the audience. The response was a total stripping away of the pageantry. He shaved his head, grew a goatee, and abandoned the corporate titles for a persona built on being cold, efficient, and detached. This breakthrough happened because Austin stopped trying to be a wrestler in the traditional sense. He leaned into the survival instincts of a real-world competitor. Deconstructing the character, we find 4 variables that make it function, each solving a specific problem. The first shift was his voice. After a match left him with 14 stitches, Austin stepped directly in front of a live microphone. When he coined Austin 316, it proved a raw response carried more weight than anything written in a boardroom. A year later, a neck injury forced a physical adaptation. He could no longer rely on the smooth, scientific wrestling of his early career. Austin was forced to become a brawler, trading technical sequences for stiff punches and aggressive, ugly fighting. This limitation became an advantage, matching the violent, anti-hero energy of the character. Because he had to fight for every inch, his work felt grounded. He carried a sense of genuine danger that set him apart from the more polished athletes in the locker room. But an anti-hero needs an obstacle massive enough to reach people who don't even follow the sport. That obstacle was Vince McMahon. Their feud tapped into a universal desire to stand up to a billionaire boss, turning a wrestling storyline into a recognizable cultural fantasy. This worked because of the internal drive behind it. Austin refused to read scripts or treat his scenes like a performance, viewing every moment as a high-stakes athletic struggle. He treated the ring like a football field. The aggression wasn't a mask he put on. It was an amplification of the same competitive nature he had carried since high school. That energy was palpable to the fans. They weren't watching a character deliver lines. They were watching a competitor who seemed legitimately unstable. The success of Stone Cold came from replacing the usual theater of the business with the reality of a man in a constant physical struggle. Today, the industry has evolved into a global, multi-billion-dollar production. The shows are perfectly formatted and delivered with a polished, high-gloss finish. Austin views this perfection with skepticism. To him, when a match looks too much like a choreographed dance, it loses the slop and the genuine unpredictability that makes a fight feel like a fight. His run demonstrated a core truth. Audiences are consistently drawn to raw authenticity, even when it's messy. You can find that preference for the unpolished in his life today. He lives in the Nevada desert, far removed from the machinery of the wrestling world. He spends his time racing off-road vehicles and working in a metal shop, living as a solid-ass cat far away from the cameras. Steve Austin can afford to live this quiet life because he already provided the most honest performance in the history of the industry. He never needed the polish. He only ever needed the struggle.